James vs. Reality. A film title with the word reality in it, you may think of something different. However, watching the film, you will see many things that in fact are not real at all. While the story is funny and the dialogue can stand alone in its own originality, it's the visual effects that rise to the top with the first impression of wow, followed by the question of how they do that. In this case, they were actually Chris Wilson. At least 98% of all visuals, aside from the incredible creature modeling from Malcolm Burke, were done by Chris Wilson. The writer, director, editor are among many hats he wore for this film. While the showstopper effects are easy to spot, such as planes crashing and a 2-story tall creature from another planet, many are much more hard to see during the fast-paced action, and many are so subtle you would swear they were happening right at the time of filming. During the opening scene of the homeless end-of-days man, the explosion lighting in his face was done on set and practical, but the added debris and smoke were added in. During the alley fight sequence, Christmas lights were tossed in a burn barrel for firelight placement during the actual shoot. However, the fire flicker, sparks, and embers were added in post. Fire and smoke elements were also added in a number of other scenes throughout the film. In the second group therapy scene, where the Wright brother flies and crashes into the wall, a lamp did break on set, but the sparks were added. And again, during the walking through fire sequence, falling embers and smoke were added along with the CGI bodies. Although a smoke machine was used during actual filming in some cases, visual effects smoke was a huge part of the background of the newscast scene, with the fire from the windows, another smoke cloud in the far background, and smoke from the wrecked vehicles. During the creature end sequence, real smoke was used for action taking place on the road. However, any scene facing the creature was visual effects smoke. Sparks, muzzle flashes, fire, and smoke also played a part in the film, such as the Rufus the janitor lighting his cigar using bare wiring coming from the wall, and later smokes his cigar while speaking to James. The burning end of the cigar had to be red-lit and tracked through every frame, with the smoke from his mouth and James' forehead added in.
Status report.
Quick visual hits came from the newscast appearing on the TV in the rec room, and an easy-to-miss real helicopter caught on film on one shoot date was used behind Pat's head during the blockade scene. Other effect shots included a pom-pom from a golf hat being spit out, as using a real one was not an easy thing to actually spit and make fly.
What do we do it in CG?
The birds flying out of the tree were another composited element, as was Lily the rat being kicked by the villainous James. Matte painting, also used in film work for large effect shots, can be seen when the team walks towards the blockade. This matte painting was done by artist Harold McKinnon. To create his stunning ground-to-airplane shot, real footage of James on the ground and real footage of the pilot jumping from an actual Boeing training jet were bridged together by Chris using a 3D warped matte painting he constructed from aerial shots taken over Union Station. The 3D 737 jetliner was composited into the shot, only switching to actual footage when the door of the plane becomes full screen. The F-22 shots were made up of several layers. They used 3D models of the jets composited into the film itself. The lighting of the 3D models seen in the film had to be carefully matched to the physical lighting at Union Station. A larger 3D effect was his work in constructing the tower at Union Station and then collapsing it. Although Chris and Tim would have loved to really explode things, real footage of explosions were used as compositing elements. These explosions were layered into the footage where foreground elements had to be cut out and placed in, within, or in front of the effect. The most inspiring visual element of the entire film was the creature. Throughout the last year of shooting live-action scenes for the film, Chris Wilson and Tim Feeney were designing the creature. Tim Feeney was the lead in bringing her to the first stage of creation with his artistic skills, drawing several versions until they agreed upon the final design. Knowing the time commitment it would take to build this essential piece of the puzzle, they then went in search of one more team member. Placing an ad on a 3D forum, they were lucky that Malcolm Burke answered their call. An expert in mudbox and ZBrush, Malcolm was able to take the concept of the creature and begin to build her into the workable form Chris needed. Once Malcolm sent the mesh model of the creature, Chris, using 3D Studio Max, built the skeletal rig which he used to animate her. While Malcolm worked in detailing and painting the textures, Chris was busy adding her to the shots. This took a painstaking amount of time to correctly light her, not just her body, but the shadows she cast on the ground around her. He also had to cut out scene elements to place her into the location, in and around people and props, and carefully going through every detail of her muscle movements, from her swinging belly to her huge mouth opening and closing with her monstrous screams. For 8 months, this back-and-forth challenge between these two amazingly talented artists went on until the incredible final end sequence was completed with great success.